Constitutionalism. What is constitutionalism? Constitutionalism is a political and legal philosophy or doctrine that emphasizes the importance of a constitution as the fundamental governing document of a nation. It is the adherence to established constitutional principles, emphasizing the rule of law and the limitation of government powers as outlined in a written constitution. The touchstone of constitutionalism is concept of limited government under a higher law. David Feldman. Components or Elements of Constitutionalism, by Louis Henking. Constitutional supremacy. The Constitution is the highest law, and all laws must be conformed to its provisions. Written Constitution, a formal, written document outlining the fundamental principles and rules. Popular sovereignty, recognition that ultimate political authority resides with the people. Individual rights, guarantees and protections for individual rights and liberties. Regular elections, fundamental for ensuring representative and accountable governance. Rule of law, adherence to a legal framework, ensuring equality before the law. Separation of powers, checks and balances, mechanisms to prevent abuse of power through the distribution of powers among branches. Limited government, government powers are defined and restricted by the Constitution. Democratic government and independent judiciary. Judicial review, authority of the judiciary to review and interpret laws and actions for constitutionality. Civilian control of the military and police accountability. Significance or importance of constitutionalism. Protects rights and liberties of individuals. Maintains order and stability. Promotes democracy or democratic governance. Ensures adaptability, accountability, and transparency. Difference between constitution and constitutionalism. Constitution and constitutionalism share a close relationship, yet there exist distinct differences between the two concepts. Aspect. Constitutionalism. Constitution. Nature. Constitutionalism is an abstract concept or philosophy or doctrine that guides governance. Constitution is a legal written document that outlines a set of legal or governance principles. Form. Ideological framework. Legal and political rulebook. Content. Emphasizes adherence to the rule of law, respect for rights, and limiting government power. Specifies government structure, procedures, powers, and duties, guarantees rights. Role. Guides the operation of the Constitution. Serves as the fundamental law and governance blueprint. Scope. Encompasses a broader cultural and ethical dimension. Focuses on specific rules and provisions for governance. Application. Influences the interpretation and application of the Constitution. Applied through legal and political processes. Flexibility. Adaptable and can evolve with societal changes. May require formal amendments for significant changes. Together, The Constitution and constitutionalism establish the legal foundations of governance by providing a structured framework for government operations, constitution, and promoting principles that guide the exercise of power, ensuring it remains limited, just, and protective of individual freedoms. Constitutionalism. Constitutionalism in India. Dictatorial governments may have a constitution, but not necessarily constitutionalism. The presence of a constitution alone doesn't guarantee constitutionalism. It requires political maturity and traditions to give meaning to the constitution. R.C. Paudel vs. Union of India. Constitutionalism is applicable in India as the foundation of Indian democracy. Constitution of India reflects constitutionalism with fundamental rights, an impartial judiciary, and legislative checks on the executive. Essential characters give rise to doctrines like judicial review, rule of law, separation of powers, universal franchise, transparent executive, and fundamental rights. Judicial analysis of constitutionalism. I.R. Coelhon v. State of Tamil Nadu. Constitutionalism is a legal principle ensuring control over governmental power to protect democratic principles and fundamental rights. Advocates a check and balance model, requiring a diffusion of powers and interpretation of legislation in line with fundamental rights. Maru Ram v. Union of India 1981. Constitutionalism opposes absolutism, emphasizing the rule of law and objectivity provided by the Constitution. Subjective satisfaction is replaced by constitutional provisions, preventing arbitrary government actions. Criticism of constitutionalism. Waldron critiques constitutionalism as potentially undemocratic, emphasizing the need for constitutions to empower ordinary people, with acknowledgement that this view may not fully align with the Indian Constitution. Rothbard criticizes constitutionalism, highlighting the need for human interpretation, warning against concentrating interpretive power in a government's court, with concerns paralleling instances of judicial overreach in the Indian judiciary. Constitutionalism and constitutional government. A constitutional government is a form of political organization in which the powers of the government are limited and defined by a written or unwritten constitution. Key features of constitutional government. Rule of law. Government operates within established laws. Limited government. Government powers are restricted or limited by the Constitution. Separation of powers. Government powers divided among its branches. Protection of individual rights. Constitution safeguards rights. Checks and balances. Mechanisms to prevent branch dominance. Constitutional document. Presence of a written or unwritten constitution. Different viewpoints. Carl Friedrich. Constitutional government constrains the ruling party, i.e. limits the power through constitutional rules. S.P.A. Bhima. Constitutional government opposes arbitrary rule, i.e. emphasizes rule of law and is adherence to the Constitution. K.C. Weir. Constitutional government is more than a government by the terms of a constitution, i.e. involves a deeper commitment to constitutional principles. Rouseck. Constitutionalism means limited government, i.e., government is restricted by constitutional principles, regardless of effectiveness.